The command deck shuddered as Captain Elena Reyes barked, "All hands seal the bulkheads now." Alarms blared through the cramped corridors of the UNS Endurance, red lights pulsing like a frantic heartbeat. Her voice cut through the chaos, steady despite the sweat beading on her forehead. Below on the planet's surface, the alien ships hung in the sky like predatory shadows, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence that no human scanner could fully penetrate. Elena gripped the console, her knuckles white. She was the rock of this crew, brave to a fault, the kind who charged into storms rather than wait them out. Beside her, Dr. Marcus Hale, the mission's cautious xenobiologist, hunched over his flickering display, his fingers flying across the keys. "Captain, their energy signatures are spiking. They're deploying drones, hundreds of them. If we don't evac the ground teams, we'll lose them." "Already on it," she replied, her tone clipped. She punched the comms override, broadcasting to the surface squads. "Lieutenant Torres, pull back to the shuttle bays." "That's an order." Static crackled in response, broken by the faint whine of alien tech piercing the atmosphere. Torres was witty under fire, always cracking jokes to keep morale up, but right now silence from his end twisted her gut. The view screen showed it unfolding. Sleek insectoid drones swarming from the motherships, descending toward the human outpost like a biblical plague. The aliens, designated as the Vexari by first contact protocols, had arrived unannounced 3 cycles ago, their broadcasts demanding submission, labor for their sprawling empire. Enslavement, plain and simple, wrapped in diplomatic veneer. Humanity's response? The Endurance, a retrofitted colony hauler turned defensive bastion, crewed by a skeleton team of grit and desperation. Marcus glanced up, his eyes wide behind smudged glasses. "The drones are emitting some kind of field. It's disrupting our shields. Look at the readings." He pointed to a graph spiking erratically, the line jagged like a heartbeat in arrest. Elena nodded, mind racing. Her early plan had been simple: fortify the outpost, negotiate from strength. But the Vexari didn't negotiate. They adapted, their tech evolving mid-battle as if alive. A jolt rocked the ship, the hull groaning under the strain. "Incoming fire!" yelled Ensign Kira Voss from the weapons station, her voice sharp but controlled. Kira was the wild card, young, impulsive, with a knack for jury-rigging fixes that bordered on reckless. She swiveled in her chair, fingers dancing over controls. Phasers at 50%. Targeting the lead drone swarm. "Fire when ready," Elena said, trusting Kira's aim even as doubt flickered. The first volley lanced out, blue beams slicing through the void, drones shattered in bursts of plasma, debris twinkling like dying stars. For a moment, triumph surged, human weapons holding the line. But then the Vexari adapted. The remaining drones shifted formation, their hulls shimmering as they absorbed the energy, redirecting it back in amplified pulses. The Endurance bucked violently, sparks erupting from a panel near Marcus. He yelped, batting at his singed sleeve. "Direct hit to auxiliary power. We're venting atmosphere on deck 3. Elena's jaw tightened. The cost was immediate. 2 ground team members gone, their vitals flatlining on the shared feed. Torres's voice finally broke through, hoarse and urgent. "Captain, we're pinned. Drones everywhere, can't reach the shuttle. Need extraction or we're sitting ducks." Elena's mind whirred, scanning options. The original evac plan was crumbling. The Vexari's field was jamming signals, turning their tech against them. But humans didn't fold. She leaned into the comm. "Torres, listen close. Rig the outpost's fusion core for overload. Make it look like a meltdown. Draw their attention." A pause, then Torres's laugh, brittle but defiant. "You're insane, Cap, but yeah, I can do that. Give us 30 seconds. As Kira recalibrated weapons, firing sporadic bursts to buy time, Elena turned to Marcus. "Doc, what's their weakness? Anything in those scans?" He shook his head, but his eyes lit with a spark. "Their adaptation. It's biological, tied to a central nexus in the mothership. Disrupt that and they falter." The ship trembled again, closer now. Elena straightened, resolve hardening. They weren't prey yet, not while she breathed. Torres's hands flew across the outpost control panel, sweat beading on his brow as the fusion core hummed to life under his overrides. The chamber vibrated with a low growl, lights flickering like a beast stirring from slumber. He patched into the main grid, rerouting power flows to mimic a cascading failure. Valves hissing open, coolant lines pulsing erratically. "Cores priming," he muttered into his comm, voice steady despite the tremor in his fingers. 15 seconds to visible meltdown. Whatever you're doing up there, Cap, make it count. Elena gripped the shuttle's yoke tighter, the alien ship's shadow eclipsing the stars through the viewport. Bursts from Kira's turret lit the void in staccato flashes, grazing the enemy's hull but not penetrating. Their adaptive shielding shimmered, absorbing the hits like water on oil. Kira, keep them guessing. Short salvos only, we're bait, not brawlers. The words came out clipped, her mind racing through vectors and blind spots. Marcus hunched over his makeshift scanner beside her. Fingers dancing across a jury-rigged tablet scavenged from the outpost's medbay. It's not just tech, Marcus said, his voice rising over the alarms. Their nexus, it's a neural hub, organic circuits linking every drone and vessel. Scans show it's vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses, but targeted. A broad EMP would fry our systems too. He glanced up, eyes sharp behind smudged glasses, the cautious medic giving way to something fiercer. We hit it surgically, or we don't hit it at all. The enemy ship loomed closer, tractor beams lancing out like probing fingers, snagging the shuttle's edge. Metal groaned under the strain, the hull buckling with a sharp crack that echoed through the cabin. Elena banked hard, thrusters firing in a desperate spiral to shake the grip. Torres now, give us that distraction. Kira swore under her breath, recalibrating her aim as the shuttle spun, her shots veering wild into the black. Down on the outpost, the fusion core's whine escalated to a scream. Emergency klaxons blaring as simulated plasma leaks painted the exterior in glowing orange. Torres sealed himself in the engineering bay, heart pounding against his ribs. The alien sensors would light up like a flare, a power surge on the brink of explosion drawing every eye. He counted down in his head, the air thick with ozone. It's going critical. Drones inbound. 3, closing fast. His laugh echoed hollow in the empty corridor, a spark of human stubbornness amid the chaos. Elena felt the shuttle lurch free, the tractor beam snapping like a frayed rope. She punched the engines, arrowing toward the mothership's underbelly where Marcus's scans pinpointed the nexus glow. A faint pulsing blue amid the armored plates. There, she barked, pointing. Kira, lock on that weak spot. Marcus, talk me through the pulse. The ship shuddered again, enemy fire raking their shields, sparks erupting from consoles. No room for error. One wrong vector and they'd be debris. Marcus leaned forward, his usual reserve cracking under the pressure. The nexus is shielded, but its feeds are exposed. Reroute our auxiliary power through the weapons array. It'll generate a focused EMP burst like a needle through the heart. He sketched the connections on his tablet, lines blurring as the shuttle bucked. Elena nodded, her brave core shining through the fear, hands already flipping switches. Do it. Kira, cover fire. Bias the shot. Kira's fingers blurred on the controls, unleashing a barrage that danced across the mothership's flanks. Drones swarmed in response, their forms twisting mid-flight, adapting to the human weapons with eerie precision. One clipped the shuttle's wing, shearing off sensors in a spray of debris. They're learning too fast, Kira growled, her witty edge turning grim. Hit it now or we're done. Torres watched from the outpost as the first drone slammed into the hull, its claws rending metal with surgical fury. The core's overload sequence hit peak, a brilliant flare erupting from the vents, visible from orbit, a beacon of impending doom. More drones diverted, peeling off toward the ground threat, leaving a brief window in the sky. He patched through one last transmission. Distractions holding, Cap, but they're not stupid, won't last long. The words hung, defiant, as he braced for the inevitable breach. Elena aligned the shuttle, the nexus filling the targeting reticle like a beating heart. Power surged through the lines, the EMP charge building with a tangible hum that vibrated her teeth. Firing, she said, voice calm steel. The burst lanced out, invisible but potent, slamming into the exposed feeds. The mothership convulsed, light stuttering across its vast form. Drones faltering in mid-swarm like marionettes with cut strings. But the reversal came at a cost. The backlash fried the shuttle's nav systems, consoles going dark in a cascade of shorts. Alarms wailed as they tumbled, momentum carrying them toward the outpost's orbit. Elena wrestled the manual overrides, muscles burning. We're blind, but we're alive. Torres, prep for docking, rough ride incoming. The stars wheeled wildly outside, a reminder that survival was just the first scar of the fight. Torres gripped the docking clamp's manual release, his knuckles white against the shuddering bulkhead. Sweat beaded on his forehead, mixing with the acrid tang of fried circuits that clawed the air. Clamps locked in standby. Give me thrust vectors, Elena, or we're scraping hull on that outpost like a bad shave. Elena hauled on the override levers, the metal biting into her palms as the shuttle bucked like a wild thing. No readouts, no guidance, just instinct and the faint pull of gravity from the outpost's skeletal frame, looming in the viewport. Vectors nominal by feel. Hold on. Firing retros in 3. The engines coughed to life, a stuttering roar that rattled loose panels and sent sparks dancing across the cockpit floor. They veered, the shuttle's nose kissing the docking port with a grinding screech that Elena felt in her bones. Metal screamed, then locked, the clamps engaging with a final bone-jarring thud. Silence fell, broken only by their ragged breaths. Elena slumped back, wiping blood from a split lip where the harness had caught her. Docked. Status, Torres? He unstrapped, already moving to the hatch controls. Life support holding, barely. Air's recycling. But we've got leaks in the secondary bays. And comms? Dead as the